Hello everybody, welcome to today's live stream. Just checking levels here, looks like we're all set. I have the YouTube chat open, so if you guys have any questions, do feel free to ask and I'll do my best to answer them. So as always, first thing we're going to do is we're going to zoom out. I'm going to do my best to keep this stream a little bit on the shorter side. But ultimately, I just want to sort of remind you guys of my general plan and kind of show you guys sort of our key levels, just to remind you of what's going on here, okay? So for me, again, just going back, and I've said this a zillion times, something that I've been looking for that I thought would be a really, really nice move. I have this really nice trend line, which if you extend up is actually a high time frame upwards channel. And then we also have this sideways channel, okay? So we'll zoom in a little bit, and I want to point this out to you. So again, support, flip to resistance, now back testing here. And, you know, this is a really, really important area for the bulls, especially because, you know, reclaiming what was support, flip to resistance, this is a really, really nice reclaim of that level, which signals, you know, basically I'll put it to you this way. Anytime when it comes to channel trading, if you reclaim the channel here, you're basically expected to go to the midline and then, you know, to the top of the range. You're expected to rotate the range. And so if they're able to hold this area, that is huge for the bulls, and we should very much be expecting higher. Okay. Now my plan, and I put this in the Discord, and I've said this many times. My plan is to do a deviation of this level and come down and sweep these equal lows here, right? Now, where would that plan be invalid is if we claim above the previous month high. At that point, I'll no longer consider that plan valid at all. Okay, so the previous month high was something that I said right at the very start of the month. Right at the very start of the month. It was on actually October 30th or 31st that I said that. So like right here, basically, somewhere in here, I said, here's what I want to see ideally for my plan to work out is I want to put in our October high. I want to see November sweep that high and then have an immediate rejection, which we got right here. And, you know, at this point, we're back testing the 618 as well as the previous month high as to be expected. And, you know, now I'm just looking to really sweep these lows and then kind of reevaluate and see what happens from there. So that's my general plan, and that was sort of my thought process going into now. If we go down to lower time frames, as I share with you kind of my thoughts and looking at these trades here, this is a lot of the reason why I'm looking for what I'm looking for. Is, you know, I sort of shared this setup in well, let's see if I have it right here. I shared this setup here where basically, you know, I'm just looking to target some of these lows. I would potentially leave a runner for this to go lower, but really, guys, I'm not like I think, you know, we're range bound right now, and the best thing that we could do or could have been doing this whole time is just trading the range. There's no reason to like go crazy over you know, waiting for a breakout or a breakdown. So, you know, really, what I've been doing even is if we go to a lower time frame, I've actually been for the last 24 hours or so here, I've been just like shorting up here and taking profits here, re-adding here, taking more profits here, re-adding here, taking more profits here, re-adding here. Obviously, I didn't hit this one, but if we come back up again and sweep these levels, I'll re-enter again, and I'll just look to take more profit down here. And that's just what I'm doing. And like you know, again, I'm not really a breakout trader. I'm a range trader. That's what I like to do. And I don't see any reason why like we can't trade this range and sort of anticipate a breakup or a breakdown inside the range and sort of be prepared either way. So yeah, I you know, that's my general that's pretty much my general thought on this. And I want to point out just a couple things to you guys. Number one, looking at the high block heat map on the 7-day, so looking back 7 days, this is the hot spot for liquidity, okay, 34. So someone just before we started the live stream asked, are we still targeting 34K? And yes, I am, because that's where the primary liquidity is. Looking back on a 12-hour, the primary liquidity is right above here. So basically, what would be really, really nice to see if we just go ahead and sort of look at this here. What would be really, really nice is if, let's just say, this Monday range sort of formed and did something like this or whatever. And then right after the Monday candle closes, we came up, swept, and, then started getting a move down. For me, that would be ideal. Typically in trading, you want to wait for the Monday range to form because it gives you an idea of sort of what parameters to expect for the coming week. That along with the previous week high, which is technically here. No, I'm sorry. That's not the previous week high. Obviously, the previous week high is over here. And for me, I want this to sort of hold as a high. Now, there's a couple scenarios where I can see that getting taken out, and we're going to talk about both of those. But really, what would be ideal is if we sort of put in a Monday high, we sweep that high, right after the daily close today, and from there we see some kind of a move to the downside. Really that would be ideal. So I want to show you guys a couple things that I just want to share with you, and it's a lot of the reason why I'm thinking the way I'm thinking, and the reason why I want to trade the way I'm trading. This over here looks pretty similar to this over here. So typically with a bull flag, you wouldn't want to see it trend upwards in a bull flag. So usually if you have a bull flag, you would want it to go like this, come down, right? And then that leaves liquidity to the upside to get taken, and then you have continuation to the upside. If you have one that's like this, well, then you're leaving liquidity to the downside, so it makes sense to do a sweep before then possible continuation. And so really I'm sort of playing it similar to this, where I'm sort of expecting us to be trending up, but at some point for that trend to sort of switch and for us to start to see like sort of a grind down, for then a sweep, some small period of consolidation, maybe come up, get a new high here, and then actually trend lower. Now, what does that look like? On our end, I actually took a fractal to represent that, and then I keep it on a daily. It looks like I did. So something kind of like this, and I really like how this looks. And of course you can see they're not exactly the same, right? They're not totally identical. And the other thing, when I said I'll show you my reasoning for being a little bit, let's say, just keeping it in mind that it's possible we take out this high, is you can see we took out the high 1, 2, 3, 4 times in this scenario, and typically I like to see at least 3. So doing something like this and then getting the move down would make a lot of sense to me. That said, that doesn't have to happen. Okay, that doesn't have to happen. So I do like this as a setup. I do like kind of how the levels line up here, where we would sort of start to trend lower here and eventually see a move down towards this zone, which if you look back was, it's basically the bottom, right? Support, flip to resistance, resistance. It would sort of be a back test of that bottom. And, from there, get a move up. I think that this would be like right on point with BTC, just with how it's been behaving lately, because this would be a really kind of a messed up move in my opinion, is for price to come down here, come up, sweep the highs again, have some period of consolidation, and then actually have some degree of a breakdown to the downside, right? We can actually see BTC did something like this several times here. It's just remarkable watching it do this. And how it behaves is sort of, we just kind of have to, use the best information that we have and sort of go from there. But, this one, again, period of consolidation towards the upside, sweep, and then get the move up, down. Period of consolidation. This one was a little bit more sideways at first, which is why I like to look at this one a little bit more because this one was a little bit more sideways, right? So there weren't really lows to be taken. You see what I'm saying? Not really lows to be taken there. This one again was a little bit more sideways because the low was we're taken right here, right? But still, it was a period of consolidation, somewhat to the upside, where the highs kept getting taken out, and then we had something of a move down before breakdown, right? Something of a move down before breakdown. Here, in this case, because it was mostly sideways, we just simply got the move up and then down. So yeah, I like the idea of, if this level holds, doing something similar to this where we basically go, we go like this and then drop and then really mess people up and come up here, right? Oops. Oh, okay. Shoot. Where we, like I said, like this, drop, consolidate, move back up, and mess about up here for a while, is something that I think would be really, appropriate for BTC and its usual behavior. I just wouldn't be surprised to see something like this. Now, that said, I want to see if I actually have this channel on here because I know I don't. I know for a fact I don't have it. So let me see if I could redraw this channel. It's a really cool channel that I have. It's this one here, but I want to see it on our chart. And you can see what's happening here is on a daily time frame. We're simply holding the midline. And you can see, this is kind of what I'm looking for, is like a move down to the bottom of the channel where maybe there we can look for a long, or otherwise we, get more continuation. So that's why like 34 to 33 is really key take profit zone for me. Because, well, first of all, it's a primary area of liquidity at 34K, but then also it's the bottom of this upwards channel that's been extremely well respected. So, yeah, it's kind of one of those, we'll have to just wait and see, because here's the deal. Once price gets down here, I'm taking profit, and then I'm going to put my stops to break even. So at that point, I don't really care, what happens, because I've made money. It's a risk. I don't want to say it's a risk-free trade, but my stops are at break even, right? So if it did get that move back up, and I would intend to long this anyway to hedge, then great. And if we did continue the breakdown towards this key level here, then that's fine too. But I want to see if I could recreate this channel here on our other chart. It looks like maybe from here to maybe here to here. This one's gonna be a little tricky. I must have messed with it throughout. Let's just see if what we can get drawn here. Okay, it's not perfect. It's not perfect, but that's okay just for like the sake of representation here. Let's just look. Oh, yeah, it's a little bit different because I have it pulled down to here rather than just up there. But that's okay. I think it's fine. I think, just generally understanding that there's an upward channel here, I think is plenty. And I like how this one sort of encompasses all of this price action too, with that little bit of a deviation there. I mean, really, really what I should probably do is move it here, which is a little bit more similar to what I did with the other one. But we'll go ahead and we'll go like this. Let's see here. Yeah, so, with the way that this one's drawn, we haven't even quite made it to the top of the channel. We're sort of resonating right here, which is fine. It definitely doesn't have to do that. And whereas this one, it's definitely done that. So I don't really have this drawn out exactly like how. Interesting. Yeah, it's totally different channel. But, I think that the bottom still gives us a little bit of an idea of kind of those targets where, ultimately, like I said, the idea is to get this move down, drop, kind of hit this zone, and then, maybe get that move back up, right? So that's my, generally speaking, that's my thought process on BTC right now. I hope that makes sense to you guys. So again, price right now is back testing from this move, back testing the 618, okay, which is right on top of the previous month high. So this is really, really nice confluence. Okay, it makes sense to back test this level. All right. Now, back testing this level, we have some key liquidity above here. So I wouldn't be surprised if, after today's close, I wouldn't be surprised if we got a sweep like this, close below again, and that's when we started to target these lows here. All right. So we target these lows and we get that move down primarily to 34K. Why? Why do we look for 34K? Because there's a key spot of liquidity there if we look on the 7-day high block chart, as well as the value area low is resting right at 34K. So it's a logical place to take some profit. If we do get this move down, we've swept a handful of these lows here, and it would be a logical place to take profit, right? We can leave a runner at that point to look to trade back to the bottom of the channel, similar to, like I said, similar to sort of this bars pattern setup here from a previous, right, from a previous range that I pulled. And if we go ahead and just like look at the number of days too, it starts to sort of make sense. Like this one here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 to put in the high and then start to get that move down. If we look at this here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and we're sitting at 13, 14. We're sitting at the 14th day of this range. So it's appropriate. It makes sense. We're kind of right around that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're just sitting right kind of around that. We're kind of right around that amount of time that we would expect, probably just that some degree of retracement, or at least that wick to the downside. In which case, I'll start to look for some long position to hedge that short. Okay, so again, just in a nutshell, what are we looking for? We go down to lower time frames. There's key liquidity here. Okay. Just going to go ahead and hide some of this stuff here. There's key liquidity above this high. What I would ideally like to see is for today's candle to close. And on Tuesday's candle, I would like to see a sweep like this, quick. Basically a quick sweep to the upside where we get a closure below here. Then we go basically take the SFP trade. We go ahead, put our stop here, and then we target, the value area low at 34K around here for that move to the downside. We get to the downside here. Price loses the value area low. Great. We look lower. It holds. We simply look, for that potential, next sweep of that high, basically. But I would think that we would get just a little bit lower, just like I said, kind of down to the bottom of that channel, and then we can look for sort of that long setup to take. So let me just see if I can actually draw this out here. Again, it's hard to replicate this channel because it's such a clean channel. Let me see if I can just draw this on here. Basically kind of looking for, we do have that fair value gap there. What else do we have? So 30, 31, 7, 31, 7, 31, 7 might be actually a little low. H4 fair value gap daily. Yeah, daily fair value gap down to here. Hmm. Yeah, I think, right. Okay, so I'm just gonna throw a couple things out there just so you guys have like a faint idea of like what we can be looking at. Um, so let's go down to a lower time frame. Basically, looking for a sweep of all of these lows here. So the setup would be, I'm sorry, let me get rid of all this stuff here. And as a matter of fact, I don't even need to use this right now because we have this as a nice mark. So what I would look for, okay, again, liquidity here, sweep Tuesday. All right, so we take our short trade just like this, and we can put our stop here. If we get that sweep, right now we're trading with our stop up here because we haven't got that yet, and we're ultimately targeting this low. Okay, with a key take profit spot, with a key take profit spot at 34K. Okay, next trade, I want to look for a sweep of this, and we hold it, in which case we'll take an SFP trade just like this, and we'll go ahead and target the highs. Okay, so something like this, I think is most basically put. I think that this is a pretty fair setup here, and this is the previous week low too. Ooh boy. Let me go ahead and update that on the chart. I think that that's something worth keeping in mind. Previous week low. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. We might not actually even make it down there. And here's why. We have the previous week low as well as the value area low right here with that pocket of liquidity. So, I mean, so this is a really nice setup. And I think even like more modestly, if we're going to be a little bit more on the bullish side, we're going to be looking probably for something like this actually, where we look for a sweep of this low with the area of liquidity like this, hold above, reclaim, and we basically do an SFP trade. So those would kind of be the two setups just right off the bat looking at the week, being that this is the previous week low and a huge pocket of liquidity, and being like just how bullish everybody's been. I wouldn't be surprised if we did get that sweep right here for a good bounce. So we just have to keep an eye on price action. It's going to be really telling, okay, guys? So here's how it's going to be telling is you want to get a move down here and you want to see the sweep, okay? Or you want to see a deviation and a reclaim. We're not going to just like blindly long if it just keeps falling. We're not just going to keep longing. I actually want to see the setup take place where we sweep the level, hold and reclaim, and then that way we have an SFP setup or a deviation play where we get a move down here like this and then we reclaim it. I want to see one of these two things happen with this level. If we don't see that happen with this level, then I'm definitely targeting this one, and we'd kind of go to our previous setup where, I would look for a sweep of this level, or again, a deviation of the level with a reclaim, and then I would look to trade that setup. So these are my two zones here where I'm looking for basically sort of the same thing. I'm not going to blindly just keep longing as we go down. I'm going to look for that SFP setup, the deviation setup at either of these two levels. I think would be appropriate to start looking for a long. Similarly here, being that Monday range is still forming, typically what you would expect is Monday high to get swept. So being that there is a nice little pocket of liquidity here, I wouldn't be surprised if we came up and swept this right after Monday close tonight. And when we do get that close, if we get an immediate sweep afterwards, I will absolutely short that, again, targeting our previous week low at about 34K, which is also a key area of liquidity as seen on the 7-day high black chart. Okay. So I think that that's a really fair plan for the week. Again, you guys have seen the fractals. I've showed you my thoughts as to why I think that, there's just something about, I don't know. I don't know what to say, but there's just something about this pump that doesn't sit right with me. And, I can be wrong. I'm not, I'm not perfect, but the fact is that I have my levels set and the levels are going to tell me the story. If we reclaim the previous month high and we say instead of getting a sweep, we actually hold up here and price just has continuation, we are definitely going to be going for this high. If we sweep it, great. That's another short opportunity. If it continues to climb or gets a good closure above, then there's no reason that it can't continue higher towards the mid-range that I talked about at about 45K. Okay, so that level will tell me that story. If we claim it, it tells me that we're bullish and we are going higher. My short thesis is incorrect. Okay. If we come down here, we sweep, we deviate, great. There's a long setup there. We can target and treat this as a range. Again, similar down here, we can target and treat it as a range and simply do some range trading. If price does continue to the downside and we continue to lose levels, this one for me is my line in the sand where it kind of has to hold the zone for me to like continue to remain some degree of like bullish, right? It has to hold the zone for me to like still kind of hold on to that. If we start to really lose some levels, then yeah, I think that my deviation play, was the move. And we can pull that up here and just to reiterate and show you guys going to a weekly time frame. I'm gonna go ahead and hide this here. Just going to a weekly time frame here is that again, this is the deviation. We lose this level and back test it and fail to reclaim, then these equal lows are likely on the table where we get a move down here, right? Now if we get a move back down here and we hold this level, well, again, that means that it's likely that we'll probably get a move up to the mid-range here that we can start to look for a trade back up. So this is a really key area for BTC, and like I have a lot of thoughts on this zone, and I'm just gonna let the levels tell the story. If we lose levels, I know what to do. If we claim levels, I know what to do. If we sweep them and reclaim, we know what to do. We have our trade setups available, and we can know what to expect given any scenario. And something else I just want to point out to you guys, and I remember this price action like very vividly. I think it was over here. Yes. Okay. So it was this price action here, and here's the thing that I just like want to remind you guys of. So I can just tell by some of the things that I've heard in the Discord and like what people are saying, where they're like, hey, are you sure? Or like, are you sure about this trade, or whatever. And here's my thought process on it is, if you guys remember this price action here, we put in a high, we put in a low, and then we sort of had this like really choppy price action where everybody was bullish and then everybody was bearish and everyone was bullish and then bearish and then bullish and then bearish, back and forth. And the whole time I said, well, I just keep shorting the 618. I don't care. I keep shorting the 618 with my stop above this high here. And, I had people in the Discord capitulated their shorts right here. They closed them, and then here they closed them because they got scared. And, I'm following my risk parameters. I have a clear invalidation. I'm going to keep shorting this level. And as you guys know, I was able to take that short down. I actually did close it right at around 25K. Is where I closed the rest of my short there, and it was because we had this really nice descending wedge here and a nice deviation of the range that was then reclaimed. This was one of my biggest trades, was this long here that I took up to here. But again, this is what it's definitely reminding me of this price action here. Let's go ahead and look at that just over here, and we'll go on to a lower time frame so it seems a little bit more clear. But again, we're at the 618, and what keeps happening is we got this move down, we came back, tested it, boom, broke down, immediately came back up, broke down, immediately came back up. And what does this do? This choppiness shakes people out of their short positions. They end up capitulating them here. And I guarantee you, when and if we do get that sweep like this, there will be a lot of people that get stopped out or capitulate their shorts because they're worried. And then that would be a great, then for our move down essentially, right? So I hope that gives you guys some insight. Really, we're just nothing really has changed. I mean, there's this trend line here that basically once this trend line is swept, we can start to look at some different things here. But really, this is sort of like the key thing here. And I'm trading this range right here, 618 previous month high is resistance. And I just keep sort of shorting this, taking profit here, and I keep doing that. Of course, leaving runners for my primary zone, which is 34K. I know someone here asked about ETH. I'm actually not going to do ETH today. We can talk about ETH, maybe for our office hours this week, or I can maybe do like another live stream or market update on Wednesday exclusively in the Discord or something like that, where we can talk about Ethereum. Or at the very least, I just want to wait until, Monday high has been swept or something like that. I think ETH is not really something I personally want to be. I'm not like really interested in shorting ETH or like trading ETH too much right now because, I mean, just look at it. I think, again, we have, let's just say like a previous week high. If we get a signal in the Discord that the previous week high was swept, I'll look for a position. Okay, I'll look for a short position if we sweep this high here. And ideally we do that after today. So, Tuesday, we look for the sweep of that high. Great. I'll look for some kind of a short position. But yeah, I don't really have too much on ETH right now. I think that that's something that we can talk about another time. I think that, ETH BTC looks really good. This is a very clear deviation of this monthly level here, and we've since reclaimed it. So upon reclaiming this, you'd basically expect it to rotate back up here, which, if BTC continues to range, that means ETH is going to rip. If BTC gets a move down, that means that ETH will just hold the level. So I'm not really interested in shorting ETH or, whatever. I maybe even want to long it if we do get some degree of retracement. But if it loses this monthly level again, boy, it's going to be targeting this low, and it's going to be pretty brutal to watch if it loses this monthly level again. So that's just something to keep in mind. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Again, we can talk more about some of those other assets later in the week as the week develops. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. As always, thank you for joining me for today's stream. And if I wasn't able to get to your question or answer anything today, feel free to join the Discord and ask away. It's a great community of people that are always there to help each other. Again, enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and we will see you in the Discord.